Okay, tonight we are learning Daf Mem Ches Amud Aleph 48. Yezer ben Yaakov Oimer, Sheira Ksusa. Remember, because it says Sheira Ksusa v'onosa lo yigra. And there was a debate, what did these terms mean? So he learns.
Got an extra?
So we're on Mem Ches Amud Aleph on the top. Rav Yezer ben Yaakov Omer, Sheira Ksusa, l'fu'um she'era ten ksusa. That means based on her age and based on her size, you give her clothing. You don't. The Gemara says shlo yiten lo shel yaldel zakena. Don't give an older woman a young girl's clothes. The lo shel zakena liyalda. Don't give an old woman's clothes to a young. It means he relates the sheira ksusa. He relates the ksus to the sheira. And then he relates ksusa v'onosa, meaning lefum onosa take ksusa. Ona can sometimes mean the season, like summer and winter. Like new unworn clothes should not be given in the summertime because they'll provide a lot of warmth. And not light clothing during wintertime. Tony Rav Yosef. She'ero zu kiruv basu. That the husband and wife, they have to have relations actually touching skin. It's got to be the kiruv basu. Shelo yinak ba minak parsim. Not like the Persians. They actually used to have relations wearing clothing. And that's not what the Torah wants. The Torah wants Bekiruv Basar. Messiah Rav Huna. And this supports Rav Huna. Dam Rav Huna. Ha'omer, if a man says, that if a man says, listen, I'm only going to get married with the Tanai, that we wear clothing during Tashmish, Yotzi, it's not an acceptable Tanai. And we force a divorce, then no sing ksuba. And we give a ksuba. That means it's not one of these things where it's her fault and we hold back the ksuba. Ramem Ches, Amud Aleph, we're about 10 lines from the bottom where it gets 10 lines from the top where there's the two dots. Rav Yudah Omer Afilo Ani should be Israel. We said an Ani also, remember, a husband has the requirement to bury his wife. And they had to do it with Khalils. Khalils was like a musical instrument. Michlal, yeah, record. Michlal the Tanakama summer. Hani, look. The Tanakama holds that you don't have to do it. Hechidon. Ida orcha, if it's the normal minute, this is what was done. Hang on, let's do low power. Okay. If it's the normal, oh, look at that, the flowers, but that's fine. If it's the normal way of doing it, either orcha might Tanakama. So why does the Tanakama say not to do it? The Amar Lo, either love orcha, and if it's not the normal way of doing it, my time of Rav Yudah, who allows it, Lo tzricha, could go into orcha didei v'lav orcha didei. It's her minig, but not his minig. Tanakama savar ki amrinan oy le'imo v'eni yeredes imo. That a husband is always have to bring the wife up to a high standard. Even if it's not normally his standard, you have to raise her to a high standard. Even if it's not even his minute. I might think that din is only when they're alive. But when she dies and he has to bury her, maybe low. Maybe you don't have to go up to that standard. You just have rafilu la'achar misa. You know, even after Misa, you have to give her a high standard. Allah that you have to provide a high standard. A woman became out of her senses. Based in Jordan the. So, and he's not around. And she has to be provided in the zones. So Bezdin's allowed to go into his finances. The zoning will finance in his ishto. And they have to provide parnasa for the wife. And also for Ubanav of Noisa, for the children. And Dover Acher. The Gemara will tell us what Dover Acher is. Why is this different from the following price? Person goes to China and leaves without taking care of his wife. And the woman comes to business and says, listen, my husband went on a trip, didn't leave me any provisions. Based in Jordan, based and finds out where his properties are, sells them, and to be able to feed the wife. The bottom of Noisav have to go knocking on doors. So they don't. So how come that's different than the other kids? It means in a case where she became a Michigan, it's not her will versus him going away to China. Now, my davarach. What do we mean by davarach? Even have to provide jewelry. Walter's happy about it. But you have to provide even jewelry for the wife if he's not
listen to the
Rav Yezer Vomar stock. That means even if she wants to give stock, you can sell some of his property to allow the wife to give stock. Mandam tachshit kol shechen stock. One who says tachshit certainly stock. Mandam stock of tachshit. Yavin lo de lo nichale the tinvul. You know what? He is happy that the tachshit is being given in order that she not look ugly while he's gone. He has like a side interest in making sure that she still looks good. Goes to China. Umesa ishta. His wife dies. Based in Jordan, so the Bezin sells a piece of land to bury, according to the covet of the husband. What do you mean? What about her covet? Meaning certainly her covet, and if his covet was on a higher standard, that to fulfill what we learned before, that the wife always rises either to his standard or to her standard, whatever's higher. And afilu lachar misa, even after death. Person says in a t'nai before they get married that if she dies, I don't want to bury her out of my assets. We accept it tonight. Now, my shna, why should that be different from what we learned before? Because normally when the husband dies, the assets fall to the heirs, to the Yisoim. So ki lomer. So if he doesn't say anything, not mean that's like the assets fall no matter what. Doesn't make a difference. We don't listen to what he says; they fall automatically. Rather, means if he dies, you don't bury him from his nechas. If he says, you know what? Don't bury me if I die from my assets. I want to be buried from the community chest. Ain't shoving low. Love kol imenu sheyashes bonav. You have to let tzibur. Person doesn't have a right to make such a t'nai to make sure that the tzibur is going to have to pay for his burial and he becomes wealthy because Mishnah. La'olam hibershu sa'av ad shentikones l'shu sabal. A father has all the rights in his daughter until he's moister the daughter to chuppah. Now, what about Masra al Shluchei Baal? Let's say this girl lives in Switzerland and the Baal lives in New York. And the Baal sent agents to Switzerland to accompany the Kala. The moment the father in Switzerland gives the Kala to the Shluchim, that's already Harei Rishus Habal. It's already, now we're going to see what this means. Who inherits her if she dies? Means once she's in Rishus Habal, the Baal inherits her. If she's still in Rishus of the Av inherits her. Let's say she has assets from Nichsei Maluk. Let's say she inherits from a different part of the family that he's not related to. Now, if the Baals, they're not married yet, they have Kiddush. They're going to go to Chuppah. So the Baal sent agents from New York to Switzerland to accompany. So the moment the Ab gives it over to the Shlichei Baal, it's already out of the Rishus Ab, as if she walked under the Chuppah. Normally, Mesira LaBaal means Chuppah, but giving it to the shaliach is already considered like chuppah. However, what if halacha avim shluchei habal? So let's say the father gets on the plane with the shlichei habal from Switzerland to New York, or the Av sends his own agents with the shluchei habal to accompany them. So she remains b'shusa av, harei b'shusa av. Period. If the shluchei av, let's say the Av gave the daughter to shluchim, and the shluchim traveled to New York, and in the airport the shluchei habal picked them up, and the shluchei ha'av give them over to the shluchei habal. So again, it's now into the bal's rishus. Now, my la'olam. Now, the word la'olam always. What is it? What is it excluding? Lafuke mi mishnah to show that we don't hold like the original mishnah does not. Higiyaz man v'lo nisu. So the din was they used to set a date, 12 months. They would say, Echad b'nissen, by next Echad b'nissen, you have to marry her. You have to put her in chuppah. Let's say he doesn't put her into chuppah by Echad b'nissen. So the initial mishnah said, Oichlos mishalo, and the Oichlos b'truma. And that means if the husband was lazy and didn't take the trouble to do chuppah yet, the father's off the hook. And now the husband has to pay mazonos. Not only that, if the husband is a Kohen, he can feed his wife truma, because normally a Yisrael can eat truma if she marries a Kohen. So from that moment on, even without chuppah, we say no, we don't pass him. We'll see how we pass him. Once the father gives it to shluchei habal, then it's already in the bal's head. Amarav, misirasa nakol chutz mitruma. He's given over all his rights to be made for Nedorim, for Yerusha, but not Truma. It means for her to eat Truma, that mamish needs chuppah. Giving over to Shlich Habal is not enough to give the Baal the right for him to feed her Truma. However, Ravasi Yomer Afla Truma, even Truma. Eis Ravuna Ravasi. And other people, Rami Lachia Barav Ravasi. Oilam, Nibushav, Achid Kons Chuppah. It doesn't work with Mesiris L'Shluch Habal. It's in the Rishus Av until Chuppah. Amar Lu Rav Lavim Ilachu. Didn't I tell you before? Lo Tizlu Basar Ibcha. Don't learn opposite. Yachol Shanui. He could have typed like this. Mesirasa Zuit Nisas L'Chupa. He might have equated giving over to the Shluch Habal like Mesir L'Chupa. That's right. However, Ushmul Amar Li'Rishasa. That what do you give it over for? Not Truma, but Yerusha. I.e., the moment you give it over to the Shluch Habal, the Baal is Yerusha and not the father. However, Rish Lakish Amar L'Ksubasa. Ksubasa are the extra things that are thrown in, like the Nedunya, like the father gives special assets to the husband and wife. And the Gemara asks, Subasa might. The Imesa Yarisla, we're talking about a case that if she dies, who inherits her? So Gemara says, I know it's the same thing as Shmuel. What are you adding? I'm Ravina. Loimar Subasa me'acher. Me'acher mana. That means the ksuba beyond the regular mana. There's mana, and then there's an extra mana for your ksuba, and there's extra stuff beyond it. That Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Chanina Damer Tavai. Misirasa l'kol af l'truva. That means when the Av gives her over to either the chuppah or to the Shluch Habal, it's for everything, Yerusha as well as Truma. Meisver, Vesper Kash. Halacha Av and Shluch Habal, the Brisa said that if the father accompanied the Shluchim of the Baal, or the Shlichim of the Av went to the Shluch Habal. Oh, Shais l'chotzer b'derech v'nichnasa imo. There was a chotzer on the road, and they went in to a hotel olim. Av b'shek subasa, the base baila. Even though the father has sent the presents already to the house of the husband, the father is still hanging around, and therefore Mesa, if she dies, Avia Yorsha. The father inherits, not the Baal. However, Masar Av the Shluch Habal, or Shemasar Shluch Habal, or the Shlichim of the Av gave it to Shluch Habal. Oh, Meaning, if the husband went into the hotel initially with his wife, but not l'shem nisuin, she's going to be in that room, I'm going to be in this room, not l'shem yichud, etc. She remained still in the rishus of the av. However, if they went into this chutzner and they had l'shem nisuin, even though all these gifts have not been sent by the father to the husband's house yet, no, they're all still in the father's house. Mesa, Bali, if she dies, the Baal inherits because there was already chuppah, in a sense. Once there's yichud, that's why we do all. By the way, what do we consider nesuin? So we have 6 different shitas bismanas. Some say why do we do this badekin? So when you do the badekin, some say that's chuppah. Some say chuppah is what we did out there. Some say chuppah is when they go into the room with Adim for 20 minutes for the period of time that you could do relations. That's chuppah. It means we fulfill all the various studim as to what nesuin mamish is. Because you see the nafkaminas involved. So we want to accompany all the nafkaminas. We say the nesuin happened. Whether the nesuin is badekin, or when nesuin is chuppah, whether the nesuin is yichud, we do it all. Because otherwise, who will be yarshin her? It might be the father, it might be the.
So the presence, if they remain in the house of the father, and they
No, the assets are in the house of the father, but the husband went into a room in the hotel with the kala l'shem nisuin. He's already the baal and he already yarshin. They're saying even if the assets aren't even in his house yet.
So, but the assets.
But they've been given. There's a nedunya. It's been written in the ksubah.
So that's enough.
Yeah, kosab.
That's enough.
Kosab. The nedunya is kosab. That's why you write it. And there's Adim. It's a star. It's a star kinyan. That's why we did this. If you're at the table, there's a kinyan made with the chassan. He takes a handkerchief, he takes a penny, he picks it up. Because at that time, all the various chayvises that are in the star, the chassan accepts on himself. It's a star kinyan.
Was there any choices in this survey?
Say again?
Was there any addition?
There is. He reads Tosefos. There's usually Tosefos by standard. All of this is only for inheritance. Aval truma, and this is the halacha. Ein isha ocheles b'truma sheyikanis l'chup. She doesn't eat truma until mamish chup. To yufta, the kula to yufta. We tried to say before that all the ones that said that she can't eat truma, we knocked it out of the box. Until chuppah mamish, and again, you don't know whether it's that chuppah or chuppah yichud, whatever it is, you need that. Gufa versus a gufa kasha. I'll show you something internally contradictory. Amred, you said nichnasa imo lolin. If the husband accompanied the wife just because they each had to sleep that night, not in the same room, so time a deloli, because they clearly said, "Oh, we need a room." But hastama, if they were silent, it sounds like when they go into a hotel, it's l'shem nisuin. Well, then aim is safer. It says nichnasa imo l'shem nisuin. If it was clear l'shem nisuin, implying hastama was silent, lol. It means if they didn't say anything, it meant just to stay there. So Amar Ravashi, stami ktani. Each one is different. Stam chotzer, dida, loli. Means if it's his chotzer, it's going to be the sleep. Stam chotzer didei linesu. Excuse me. Stam chotzer dida hers, it's loli. Stam chotzer didei linesu, and it's for linesu because it's his. Tana, we learn a mission. Masra abdu shlucheba. Father gave to the shlucheba, and then zinsa. Then she committed adultery. So let's understand first. A nara hamoy ras, a girl that's been given kiddusha, but there's no chuppah yet, and she's mezaneh. She gets killed by skila. He, the guy who sleeps with her, and she. Once she's an eishasish and she's mezaneh, you get killed with chenek. Okay. So now this Masira Lashluche Abal plays a role in this as well. When is it considered like she's Nesuin? So Masra Lashluche Abal, the Zins are Bechanek. Means if she's Mezaneh after the father gave it to the Shluch Abal, she's killed not Beskila anymore. It's considered like she was already a Bechup. Menon immediately, from where do you see this? Amravami Barchama Amrav Kra. There's no space avia. When is she killed with Skila? When the znus happens b'veisavia, prat excluding the shemasar av the shluch habal. But if he gave it to shluch habal, then there's no skill. Frank, the Gemara behema prat Maybe the din is like you go into chuppah, he hasn't had relations with her yet. So maybe it excludes the case that going into the chuppah is not enough. Maybe then you still get muskila. And it's only after he lives with her that it's chenek. So, and it's not the case of shluchei haba that you're excluding. But this din that you're already beyond, you're chenek with chuppah is already written because it says kiyena rapsula mo'arasa leish. That's the post, and we darsh nara beloy bogeres. It's got to be from the age of 12 to 12 and a half. Once 12 and a half, there's no skill. Sula below ba'ula. If a girl's a psula, she gets skila. Not if she's a ba'ula. Let's say she was a ba'ula before she was given kiddushin. So even after she's been given kiddushin and she's mizana, she gets chenek, not skila, because she's not a ba'ula. Ma'irasa? No, skila's worse. Skila's worse. Skila's the worst. Was machlek a skila straight? We'll have that in Sunday.
Nobody's come back to tell us.
No, the Gemara has a discussion, which is
I understand. Nobody's but come back to tell us.
but the Chazal says either most of the opinion is skila, and there's one opinion that's straight. But chenek is like the easiest. Velon nesua. Velon nesua. Meaning,
I'll take
well, remember, chenek was, remember, they put you on a post, they put a loop around your neck.
Yeah,
They had a stick. They turned the stick.
yeah.
Put the stick right behind. You know,
Yeah,
the
the Garrett.
the garrote.
Yeah. Okay, can you carry on with the
Okay. So my rasa v'lo nesua, my nesua. Ile min nesua mamish means he lived with her. I know v'sula v'lo b'ula. El alav shenichtas l'chuppah v'lo nivala. So that's already written in the Torah when it says my rasa. But first, once she goes under the chuppah, there's no skill anymore. Okay, Shukayach everybody. Two. But can't do it. Now, tomorrow. Yeah, that's it. Let me. What do you have to do? Yeah. How do we stop recording? Press leave.
Yeah.